all. It was just a few things that had to be ironed out. There was a faction in the Executive Council of the Ghana Football Association that preferred having George Watson as the leader of the team. So even when Osara left, we still had a standing technical team that had George Watson and Masao Dudu Dramani. And others also preferred Hughton. Then when there was an agreement, they went to the ministry and the ministry said that they were going to speak to the chief of staff about the financial details and the financial wherewithal of Ghana, whether we could afford the package we had to offer him. Once that was ironed out, it was always going to be him, and everybody preferred continuity. The GFA also wanted to have him at a time that many Ghanaians wouldn't say he has been forced on them by the government. So I feel that everybody wins. Continuity also wins in this case. It's a right appointment for me, and it's a shrewd appointment for the time being. We could have spared ourselves the shenanigans of...
Skeptical about the qualities that Chris Hughton has, especially when he was part of the team in our failure at the World Cup. But how different would he be as the main man instead of the technical advisor he was in the past 12 months?
Everybody who was part of that technical team was so tight. They weren't so sure of their future with the national team, likewise himself. And then there's that soap opera that ensued when he came in initially also tried muddied the waters for everyone. What was his job? To advise someone who was going to take the final decisions. So we reduced his input by providing him with that role. Now he has hands-on direct responsibility for what happens to the Black Stars. This is the same person who led the charge to speak to Tariq Lamptey, Mohamed Salisu, and a couple of players to convince them to come and play for Ghana. It's his responsibility to integrate the team now. Nobody's going to say that, well, this one was done and he was not in the dugout, he was outside. Sometimes he's sitting in the stands and calling them and all that. Now he's the right guy. He's the one signing and submitting the report. He's the one flying out to go and tell players that come and play for us, even though he's been doing that in the past. He has a huge responsibility to make sure that the identity does not only wrap on the Black Stars, but also our failing league system. You don't see the quality of football transcend. Initially, you could have players as young as Barry Jibril moving from our local league and coming to play for the Black Stars. You could have Emmanuel Ajman leaving Bekum Arsenal and coming to play for the Black Stars. Now you hardly feel that. And I think that we have to keep on pushing to ensure that things work. He is the ultimate decider now, unlike the past. And he bears the ultimate burden and responsibility for the activities of the technical side of the Black Stars.
Well, Atta, I think we've all spoken about Ghana being a little off the quality or the standards that we've set for ourselves in the last couple of decades. But with Hughton now taking over, where do you think his priorities will lie as a coach with his experience from the Premier League and 12 months with the national team?
Now, with that 12 months, he understands the politics in the Black Stars. It is our biggest problem as a nation now. Secondly, he understands what he needs to do. The earlier we take away this canker of people bringing in players from anywhere at all because they belong to certain agencies, the better for everybody. You cannot explain to yourself why this is doing good World Cup. Neither can you tell yourself why scientifically or statistically or logically why Bernard Tekpete wasn't part of our initial 55-man list. These things ought to be eradicated. The Black Stars are dying under a heavy strain of expectation. You have management committee members coming out to say the Black Stars will win the World Cup. You have the Minister for Youth and Sports doing it. You have the Ghana Football Association president going on a dinner date with the PFAG and then telling them the Black Stars were going to fly or shine in Qatar. Shine where? Like where? We ought to understand and appreciate where exactly we are currently as a nation. We are not doing well enough, and we need time to build. We have potential, we have the tools, but building a fashionable national team that's consistent takes time. It took Claude Leroy 2 years to build on what Ratomir Djokovic had done from 2004 to 2006. It took us 2008 and beyond to fully appreciate and feel the fruits of that labor. We need time. We need time. We don't need unrealistic expectations. Let me quickly say, if we win the next AFCON in La Côte d'Ivoire, it is a fluke. We are not one of the favorites. If you take the top 6 countries in Africa now, we are not bad. Even though we qualify for the World Cup. Other people have gone and progressed with their projects, unlike us. Let's give these boys time. Let's play a lot of matches together. And let's give ourselves and our new technical team the continuity they are looking for. There is something to build on. We have potential. Let's build on that. No unrealistic expectations. No cacophony with a Black Stars bonus, Black Stars appearance fee. Enough of all that. Let's look at the football side. A major decision whether to be our goalkeeper. None of them is good enough. None of them is good enough for the standard we seem to want to reach. We want to be the best in Africa again. We ask ourselves, look, is it really the case? Are we like Senegal? Are we like Morocco? We are not even like Nigeria, even though we went away with them during the World Cup qualifiers. When they understood the terrain, these same people had a faction in there saying they wanted George Bush. Let's forget about all these politics. Rally behind it and provide him with the support he needs. We have a huge responsibility, and in fact, it's also worth understanding that in spite of that huge responsibility, we are not good enough. We are not one of the best in the country. So we must start from somewhere and get to somewhere.
All right. Now, finally, there's this, in the last 4 years when this administration took over to reign Ghana football, 4 coaches have left: Kwesi Appiah, C.K. Akono, Milovan Rajevac, and then Otoado, who made it clear that he wasn't going to stay for long. Now, we don't know the contract or the extent that Chris Hughton is going to stay as the Black Stars coach. How does that give us any confidence that we are going to build something greater in the next couple of years, especially when he built his side, that Brighton side, on grit and resilience for a couple of years?
I'm genuinely worried the details are currently not out, but I'm also certain that having had discussions with him on so many occasions, Chris Hughton is somebody who would insist on a binding contract, one that would give him at least some short to medium-term control. So I would be surprised if we go about giving him a year deal. Minimum it should be 2 years, so that we can prepare for the African Cup of Nations as well as the qualifiers for the 2026 World Cup. We are in 2023. If you give him a 2-year deal with an option for another one, then you are almost covering the 2026 World Cup. So look, we ought to get that done. I know he has taken security around this job. Other than that, he wouldn't have agreed to their offer. And I'm really optimistic that for the next 2 years, I wouldn't be surprised if it emerged that he is the coach and then the presidency. And then there we were told that the government will tell them how much they have and how much they are willing to commit on the coach of the Black Stars every month. That's also held up the process for a while. And I'm pretty sure, looking at the places this one has gone, there have been guarantees for the medium term on the job.
All right. Thank you so much, Collins Atapoku, for your time this morning. And we just hope that the very best will come from Chris Hughton and the Black Stars. Maybe for in the 42 years by 2025 we'll win the AFCON and we can also celebrate.
All righty. Thanks for your time. Thank you for your time.
Also, anyway, that was Atapoku there, and he's given us loads of information that we didn't know. Yes, sir. So we just hope that
I have to go back to him for right. I need to go back to him. Anyway, there isn't so much time. Well, Kudus, congratulations on that goal again.
Yeah, he's the future of the team. So under Chris Hughton, he should be the main figure.
Kudus Day.
Let's build the Black Stars around him.
Yeah, Kudus Day.